everyone, welcome again to another edition of Movie Masters. I am your host, Movie Master Mike, and I am back and just as mediocre as ever with my review of the entire season of Jessica Jones. This is the new Netflix Marvel series. It just came out this past Friday on the 20th of November, and it was pretty good. I liked it. I really like the street level superheroes. I mean, I like the cosmic ones. I mean, I love Thor and stuff, but the street level ones I think are really cool because they're a little more relatable because, you know, they probably have crappy lives and, you know, they don't go out into space and things like that. So I really like those types of characters, and I'm really glad that Marvel decided to do Netflix with these types of characters instead of trying to make movies. Because no one would go see a Jessica Jones movie, but people will who already have Netflix. I mean, everybody has Netflix, and everyone will watch a Marvel TV show that's on Netflix, especially since you can binge watch the whole season. It's awesome. It's much better that way instead of weekly like on a network. This show was very good. I liked it. It definitely felt like Daredevil. You didn't see Daredevil at all, but you did see Rosario Dawson's character from Daredevil, the nurse. So that was cool seeing her. Kind of unified the two seasons, or two series. The cast was really, really, really good. Kristen Ritter plays our title character, Jessica Jones, and she's awesome. She has this quirky look to her. She looks and acts like she's a badass girl who just drinks whiskey from the bottle, and you totally believe it. And she can kick ass. But it seems like sometimes like she can like really kick some ass, and other times like she can get her ass kicked like pretty easily. And they kept toying around with the idea that she can fly. And at one point, I mean, we see her jump a few times like up to like a stairwell or something. But at one point, she's like in a neighborhood out in the suburbs, and she has Kilgrave over her shoulder, and she just like she looks up. There's like, oh, there's too many trees in the way. And like when there's a clearing, she just jumps, and like we never see her like land or how far she jumped. So I would have liked to see her actually fly. And there's one point where she's like gonna like give herself up. She wants to get locked up, so she like climbs up to the top of one of the bridges in New York, and she's looking out over the city. And I thought she was gonna like jump out and like start flying, like she was gonna try to fly, and they were gonna do it, but they never did. So they never really showed her fly, and they never say that she can. She always says like, no, it's more like, you know, jumping and then falling with grace and with style, like Buzz Lightyear kind of. Luke Cage was a big part of this show, which I didn't think he'd be like a big part. I thought he'd maybe, you know, be in the first couple episodes and then kind of disappear. But he wasn't in every single episode. A lot of these actors and actresses are credited for every episode, even though they're not in them. But the season has to do with them. Mike Coulter played Luke Cage, and he was probably my favorite part. I thought he was really awesome. He was like the perfect Luke Cage. He was huge, but he seemed like a really nice guy, you know? Like someone that you could probably, you know, hang out with and have a beer with. And he has his own bar, which is even better. David Tennant played Kilgrave, the bad guy of the season, and he was awesome. He was so awesome. I love David Tennant, and seeing him as the villain in this, but not like the Weasley, you know, tongue villain from Harry Potter. It was really cool seeing him. I love just his mannerisms and just the way he delivers his lines is really well. I mean, he was very threatening, but then at the same time, you kind of felt bad for him at points. Will Travel as Will Simpson was good. He was threatening from the get-go. Like, he was mind-controlled, and even when he wasn't mind-controlled, you knew, like, we shouldn't trust this guy. He's out for his own things. He's crazy, and he was the whole time. Rachel Taylor, who plays Trish Walker, was one of my favorite parts of the season. Jessica Jones gets adopted by the Walker family, and Trish is her new sister. And so they have, like, they love each other, but she doesn't actually say it ever. Eka Darville, or however you say his name, he played Malcolm, the junkie neighbor, and he was really good. He started out as the junkie, and he just kind of there, you know, and I kind of knew something was going on with him, and then he became like a spy, or you find out that he was a spy for Kilgrave, but kind of against his will. Not really, because Kilgrave's a mind controller, and he doesn't really control him. He just says, hey, take pictures of this woman every day, your neighbor, and I'll give you drugs. So then he gets off the drugs and he becomes clean, and all he wants to do is help people. He loves people. You learn that his parents are like super Christians, and so he grew up like loving people and thinking that everybody's good at their core. And so he was an interesting character. I'm glad that he didn't die. At one point I was like, oh my god, he's gonna die, but I'm glad he didn't. Nobody really died in this. I mean, like the detective, yeah, he died. One of the weird neighbors that kind of had this weird crush on Jessica, he died, but nobody like substantial died. The one neighbor, she became a bigger part of the show towards the end, which I kind of thought was annoying. I didn't like her. Carrie Ann Moss plays Jerry Hogarth, who is a big-time lawyer. And in the comics, it is a man, but so they did a gender swap, which I'm completely okay with. I mean, I love Carrie-Anne Moss. I think she was great in this. She's definitely a backstabbing character. She just wants what she wants, whatever will get her best interest done, and it's usually about her career. And she's going through a divorce, and her secretary, Pam, played by Susie Abramite? I don't know how to say her name, but she was great, and at the end she realizes, like, wow, you're only looking after yourself. All you want is your career to stay at the top. You're disgusting to me, so that relationship is over. Erin Moriarty plays what the show is really about, Hope Schlottman, and she is a girl who gets mind controlled in the first episode, and Jessica Jones is looking for her and finds her and thinks that she got her away from Kilgrave and has been enough time, but really it wasn't enough time, so she kills her parents, which is what Kilgrave told her to do. And so she goes to jail. The character of Will Simpson wants to kill Kilgrave. He's like, he's too dangerous. He can mind control anybody and everybody. Like, you need to kill him. Jessica Jones is like, no, we need to capture him and get some kind of confession or proof that he can mind control people and get Hope released from prison. Because, she didn't kill her parents on her own free will. It was under control. So they always have this thing, like, he keeps getting in the way of what Jessica's trying to do and capture him and stuff, and he just wants to kill her, or kill him. So Hope is really the driving force in the season, and then at one point she is released due to Kilgrave, and then Kilgrave kidnaps her again. Hope decides to kill herself to free Jessica of, we need to capture him, now she can just kill him. And then Kilgrave's parents are introduced, and it turns out that they experimented on him as a child because he has some kind of degenerative disease, and they were trying to cure him, keep him alive. And that's what gave Kilgrave his powers, is all these things that they did to him. So they call it a virus. So technically you can suppress a virus and get rid of it, like a cold, which I kind of have right now. And so the parents play a little bit of a part, especially the father. First he's working on a serum to stop Kilgrave's powers, but then Kilgrave gets a hold of him, and now he's working on a serum to enhance his powers. And it works. He's being able to control hundreds and hundreds of people in a vast area and for longer. Usually, if Kilgrave tells you to go do something, it'll take about 12 hours for your mind to not want to do that anymore. But now it takes, 16 hours or whatever, and Luke Cage gets mind controlled, and for a long time, he's mind controlled. I think it's like he keeps making phone calls to him, because now he can do it through the phone and stuff, which is cool. There's a hospital scene in the last episode where he gets on the intercom, so the whole hospital is out to get Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage is mind controlled at the end, and they have this epic superhero battle, throwing each other through walls. It was really cool. I loved seeing them fight, not only each other, but when they were just like fighting like side by side and stuff, like, and just seeing their powers. They don't show off their powers a whole lot. Like Jessica's always ripping locks off doors and stuff, but you don't get to see the full extent all the time, and so there's just like little things, like this woman was in his way, so he just like picks her up and just like moves her, and she wasn't like a huge woman, but she wasn't, slender like Jessica Jones or anything, so he just picks her up and she was like, whoa, that was kind of weird. And Rosario Dawson's character, like I said, makes an appearance in the last episode. She's taking care of Luke Cage, who, after was mind controlled, to stop him, Jessica Jones put a shotgun to his neck and fired, and it knocked him out, and we don't know if it killed him. We know his skin can't be cut, very easily, and but it knocks him out, so we don't know if he's going to have like brain trauma or if he's ever going to wake up from like a coma. So Rosario Dawson is the one that's kind of taking care of him, and she's telling Jessica Jones, hey, I have this, super friend of mine, and maybe I can reach out to him to help you. And she's like, no, I'm the only person that can kill Kilgrave. Nobody else can get in my way, and I don't want to put anybody else in harm's way. So it has to be me, even though she uses her sister as a distraction. She puts headphones on and pretends to be her in her jacket and hoodie. And Jessica Jones, when she was captured by Kilgrave, like a year ago, they were like, going around the town for however long it was. And at one point, she dug up this case that was in cement, and it had a zip drive, and it had all the files from when he was getting experimented on as a kid by his parents. And the person who knew about that was Luke Cage's wife. And so they left the warehouse or wherever it was buried, and so Kilgrave says, get rid of her. And Jessica Jones, full strength, punches her into the street and then a bus comes by and hits Kilgrave, but the public thinks that it hit Luke Cage's wife, and she walks away, and Kilgrave is like, Jessica, come back, Jessica, and she's not listening to him. She broke the spell, and so she's immune now. But after his parents or his father made him stronger, we don't know if he can control her or not. So at the very end, there's this big brawl between all these people, and then he says, everybody stop, and then even Jessica stops, and he's like, oh, you're messing with me, I know I can't control you, you're just fooling around with me. And so he keeps trying to test her to see if he actually is in control of her or not. So he says, your sister, come here, Trish, and, kiss me, so he's like, wait, I can really control you, you were gonna let me take your sister away from you. So he goes and he still thinks he's in control, and he's like, tell me you love me. And that was the code word that Jessica and Trish had, that if I'm in control of myself, and I have to call you or whatever, and we don't know if I'm mind controlled, I'll tell you something I never say, which is I love you. So she looks at her sister and says, I love you, and then picks him up by the throat and snaps his neck, and everyone's out of the trance. And it was really awesome. I wish in this show, I really wish that they would have showed Daredevil just running on the rooftops, or on the news one day, that the devil of Hell's Kitchen or something, just something. Carrie Ann Moss's character mentions something about Matt Murdock being the lure that you want to get to help people that have no hope, because she only does high profile cases that she knows she's going to win. I wish they would have mentioned him at least once. I mean, it would have been, I expected to see him in the first episode jumping on a rooftop, but after not seeing him in that episode, I was like, well, they have to mention him in some way. And I guess they did in the last episode with the night nurse, but I would have liked to see him on the news, or hear about him on the news, or something like that. That would have been nice, but it didn't happen, which is okay. This show was pretty good. I really liked it. It wasn't the best show I've ever seen, but it was good. I liked it. The cast, like I said, is awesome. The music, I think, is cool. It's kind of like metal mixed with jazz, stand-up bass type jazz music, and it was really cool. There was quite a bit of detecting, because she's a detective, so she's out detecting things, and which is cool. She drinks so much whiskey in this season. It's ridiculous. She's constantly just drinking out of the bottle or pouring herself glasses, just always drinking. But she does tell Luke Cage at the end, when he's unconscious, that he's the first person she could imagine a normal future with. Having normal dates, going bowling, living in the suburbs, things like that. Which is cool, because we know that they get married in the future. And I'm curious, because he was in this show quite a bit. Not every episode, like I said, but quite a bit. So I'm interested to see if she's going to be in his season, which is supposed to come out next year, or if it's going to be just him, if it's going to be a prequel when he was still with his wife, if it's going to be after this, going on at the same time as this. I mean, I wouldn't want a prequel. That'd be stupid. But she would have to be in it if it's not a prequel. So, but overall, this season was very good. I would definitely recommend it to anybody, and I can't wait for the Luke Cage series. I can't wait for the Iron Fist series. That's going to be awesome. They've already hinted at that in the Daredevil show with the logo on the cocaine. And in Phase 1 of the Marvel Netflix series of these street-level teams, we get Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. And then, obviously, we're getting a Season 2 of Daredevil, maybe a Season 2 of Jessica Jones before the end of Iron Fist. And then they culminate together as the Defenders, which is basically Heroes for Hire. And we're probably going to get one season of that before we move into Phase 2 of the Netflix Marvel's shows. And I forget exactly who's in it, but I know Moon Knight and Cloak and Dagger are two of the season or shows characters that are getting a show. And I am a huge Moon Knight fan, so I am so psyched that Moon Knight is getting his own dark, gritty Netflix rated R show. So I cannot wait for that. I wish that was part of Phase 1. Screw Luke Cage and everybody. Screw Jessica Jones. I mean, I like the show and I like those characters, but I love Moon Knight and I want to see him sooner rather than later. Wow, I really like these Netflix shows. I like how dark and gritty and rated R they are. Anyway, thanks for joining me in my review of Season 1 of Jessica Jones. I can't wait for Luke Cage Season 1. That should be coming out sometime next year. So far, both the Netflix series have been really good. I liked Daredevil a little more, only because I like that character a little bit more. but this was very entertaining. I really liked it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on this channel, and tell me what you thought about season 1 of Jessica Jones and where you think it could be going from here, because this was like her big villain, the man, the Purple Man, aka Kilgrave. So tell me who you would want to see in a Marvel Netflix show, because I want to see Moon Knight. We've already seen Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and we know we're getting Iron Fist, and I'm pretty sure we're getting Cloak and Dagger, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about this show, the past shows, and the shows moving forward, and who you would want to see as part of this gritty TV universe. Well, as always, I'm your host, Movie Master Mike, reminding you to speak your geek and balance your geek with Geequilibrium.